Hi British Vogue, it's Anya here, and today I'm going to take you with me all the way through my Instagram archive. Yeah. I come off so crazy, but okay. This photograph is the act of love of a very dear friend, where basically anytime I do something that I deem to be scary, which usually has to do with like a red carpet or just being very visible, I need to do something ridiculous afterwards to kind of bring my soul back to my body. And for Emmy night, Cara very sweetly asked me what I wanted to do, and I said I wanted to jello wrestle. And she filled a kiddie pool with green slime, and we dressed up in onesies, and then we jello wrestled. It was a pretty even match, to be fair. More than likely we'll have a rematch at some point. Time is crazy. My parents found a whole bunch of VHS tapes, and we all sat down and we watched them. And this video is proof that I was a little weirdo from the very beginning. I'm 6 years old, and I am making potions. I made a giant, stew of plums that I served to my parents and all of their friends, and they ate it. It was not okay. But, they had a lot of love and a lot of faith, maybe misplaced. Yes, life is one long interpretive potions class. I agree. This is a behind-the-scenes picture of Scott Frank and I on the set of The Queen's Gambit. He is like a second father to me, and we poured our hearts and souls into this show. I've never given so much of myself to a character. With Beth, I really couldn't tell whether it was her having a bad day or me having a bad day. And that line got very blurry. Much crying after the end of that show. Much crying. This picture is my favorite moment from the Met Gala. It's Sarah Paulson and I downloading after the night on the Met steps. This was the first time that she showed me the trailer for Glass, the movie that we did together, because she had it on her phone and I hadn't seen it yet. So we just sat down on the steps of the Met and she showed me this trailer, and then we giggled for hours because she's a very funny lady. One of my favorite memories from the Met is the lovely Hailee Steinfeld, who I have not met yet. She had a very long dress and she didn't see me, and she walked past and I got caught up in her skirts, and I was really going to topple straight down the stairs, and an arm just came out, grabbed me and ripped me to safety, and it was Jimmy Fallon. And I was like, thanks. Wow, that was an intense 2 minutes. I thought I was gonna die, and then Jimmy Fallon saved me. So thanks, Jimmy Fallon. Oh God. My partner at the time knew that I was very afraid of flying. I actually had to get over my fear of flying for work. I kind of caught it off my sister. I saw her get really freaked out one day on a plane, and I just started copying it, essentially. And then one day on a way back from his work, he surprised me and said that I was going to go and fly a plane. And this was me doing that. And to be honest, it actually really worked. I'm not scared of flying anymore. My weird reaction to any kind of dangerous situation is that I giggle like a maniacal child, which is far more frightening for anybody that's around me because I'm completely lost in my feeling of joy, but other people feel like they're with a devil gerbil. This picture is taken in Argentina on the Delta. Argentina means so much to me because it's where my dad is from. It's where the majority of my family still lives. It's kind of where I go to completely disconnect from the life that I've built for myself. I got to go back for Christmas, and that was really emotional and wonderful. And I cried for a solid amount of time. Weirdly, the thing I missed the most was the smell, and it was really nice that it still smelled the way that I remembered it. Can you tell that that little girl's going to be an actor? This is in my childhood home in Buenos Aires, and I'm dressed up like a dama, a lady, and, you know, I'm not enjoying it at all. I'm having a terrible time. I was originally a very outgoing kid, but when we moved to London, I didn't speak the language, and I felt very isolated, and so I very much relied on my imagination, and then I learned how to read when I was 8, and that completely changed my life. From that moment on, I was never lonely again. I always had friends to turn to. So this picture is really special because I remember it was the first photograph that came out in the New York Times for Sundance Film Festival. Filming the movie, but also the Sundance experience, it completely changed my life. You know, I used to tell people I went to Sundance and never came home, but that's kind of the way that it happened. This picture takes place after Thomasin awakens in the woods, and she doesn't quite know what's happened, but it all kind of goes pretty downhill from this moment on. And I can really remember shooting it because it had rained the night before, and the earth was so damp, and I loved it. Essentially, I love lying down in dirt. I don't know why, but people keep wanting to put me there, and I am happy to be there. I am the very witch. When I sleep, my spirit slips away from my body and dances naked with the devil. That is a quote from the movie. That is when I am terrorizing my little siblings. And what's crazy is I still remember big portions of dialogue that I have said in films. And sometimes I'll be having a conversation with somebody and I will say a line and then realize that it is a line that was written and just not tell the other person because that is semi-strange. This is a picture from the set of The Miniaturist. I am corseted to another dimension on this show. What was so wonderful about The Miniaturist, and you know, sometimes people aren't this generous, Jessie Burson, the author of the book, she showed up on our first day and gave me her blessing to play Petronella, and I just thought that was so sweet of her, and she's so cool, and she really just said, I think you're gonna do this right, and I want you to know that I fully endorse it. And I think that gave me a nice confidence boost. No one wears period costume like our ATJ does. Aw, she's holding her foot out as if she wants to be kissed. That's very sweet. I do love being in period garb because it's time travel. It just adds another dimension to your work where you don't have to try so hard to imagine something because you're already walking differently and holding yourself differently. And it's just fun to play dress up. This is the first time I wore, or we created, the Gina Gray wig that I wear on Peaky Blinders. She's so sassy. I'm talking about the wig. She's a sassy wig. This was my first time on Peaky. This was when we decided what Gina was going to look like. The only strange thing about changing your hair as dramatically as I do is you scare yourself in the mirror at nighttime because you don't know what you look like. So the amount of times that I've gotten up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and then just dropped to the floor in absolute terror because suddenly there's a brunette in my window, multiple times. Like, it's happened a lot. It's kind of a miracle that I have not hurt myself because of that. Oh, this dress. This was for Golden Globes night. I had this vision of green, and my stylist at the time and I had a conversation about it where Beth Harmon is such an important person to me, and green is the color that I associate most with her, and I just called him up and I said, I have to wear green. It's right, I have to do it. I celebrated winning a Golden Globe by having a giant bucket of vegan fried chicken, a boob cake that a friend of mine had bought me that was red velvet, and then we watched like 4 chick flicks back to back, and I was with all of my best friends, and essentially we just had a big sleepover party. It was great. It was fabulous. Bow down to Slytherin's princess, Anya Taylor-Joy. I'm not sure that I'm a Slytherin, but I do think that they're misunderstood. And it would be kind of amazing to be able to talk to snakes. I feel like they have mad secrets, and I want to know. We're an interesting breed. Performers is what I will say about this video. This is from the film Emma. This was such a good group of people. We all got on so well, and it was amazing because it kind of felt like we were at summer camp the whole time that we were filming. And this is us singing a song from Les Mis. The Emma WhatsApp group is still one of the most active WhatsApp groups I've ever encountered. I'd never really had the opportunity to film a movie in England with so many English people, and it just felt like being invited into a new family, and it almost felt like we were doing a play. This video is training for Furiosa, and I am having the time of my life. I have very different hobbies now than I did last year, and this was my third time trying a juicy lift 1AC, and I felt pretty great about nailing that one. I'm not going to lie. This is a photograph that Edgar Wright sent me from the edit of Last Night in Soho. That's his shadow waving at me. My favorite memory of making Last Night in Soho, I think that's twofold. The dance that Tomo, Matt, and I got to do with our incredible Steadicam operator, Chris. That dance was amazing because there's only one moment that's CGI, the rest of it is all practical. Walking around Soho at like 5 o'clock in the morning when you haven't been to a club and you're fully sober and seeing everybody that's around you and you're dressed kind of like a 60s ghost, it's pretty great. I scared a whole bunch of my friends that way a couple of times because they're all out at the club and I've just started work. This is a picture of some commandments that I made for myself. Trust your feet. It means a couple of things to me. I used to be a dancer, and in ballet, it's all about getting your foot underneath you. So I think it was originally the idea of plant yourself in the ground and trust that your feet will be there. I'm fascinated by the fact that in the before times, people used to actually hook people off of stage if they were doing badly. Like with an actual hook, they would just wrap it around your waist and hook you off. And I think destiny kind of does that. And your feet will lead you to where you are supposed to be. So I think it's really important to be honest about your feeling, not say you're fine when you're not fine, and just give yourself a break. Was that an interview? Was that a therapy session? Unclear. But thank you for watching and for sticking by with me on it. And yeah, that was my Instagram thus far. Crazy.